I won't say it now because we're live, so I want to incriminate myself.
Oh man,
don't incriminate yourself. All right, mic check 1 2. We live. Welcome back to another episode of A&M, the #1 anime and manga podcast in the world. Man, we're back. It's beautiful. I'm not dying anymore. It's a wonderful feeling. I missed everyone last week. Hope everyone missed me or not. Don't matter. I'm gonna still be happy. How you doing this week, Matt?
I'm big chilling, dude.
Big chilling. So let's start here. Just gonna jump in.
Are we jumping right into what are we starting with today?
I have 2 really quick hits, and then we're gonna go straight to One Piece. So okay. We're not gonna actually go straight into One Piece. I'm gonna just say we have other things, then say we go straight into One Piece. I've watched a lot of Talking Heads over the last week. Being sick, I had a lot more time to just kind of sit there and study people, and a lot of you guys do that. They just say, "Yeah, we're gonna go straight into this." But I'm gonna talk about this first, which means we're not actually going straight into this. But neither here nor there. You go, y'all talk. So we're gonna start with this. As I just said prior, glad to be back. I'm not sick no more. It sucked last week because last week was one of those. There was a lot of shit happening between anime, between sports. It was just a shitty week to not be able to talk or consistently sit down at a desk.
Yeah.
I also realized I have a lot of first world problems. Like I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, I can't sit at a desk and talk. And that's fucking with me. So it was a very good, just sit back and I was like, yeah, life's pretty good. If this is what I'm bitching about at 26 years old, we did okay, kids. So there's that. Secondly, I was watching, we had my little cousin Ryan came over Sunday night.
Okay.
I'm off because this whole week is like a day later now because no work on Monday. But he came over Sunday night with his girlfriend. They stayed the night. And then Noemi's parents came over yesterday and we all barbecued for Memorial Day. Real fun time. We were watching Attack on Titan with them because Ryan and his girlfriend watched a bunch of anime and they were asking me all right, what do you guys like? What are shows to recommend? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, he hasn't seen Attack on Titan yet?
He is not.
Oh, okay.
They actually just finished Naruto. So that's how I know she's a keeper because no filler episodes, but she went through all of Naruto. So that's a real strong relationship test. Like for all of you that came here for relationship advice, if she will watch all of Naruto with you, you can't be the one to break it off. Like you officially just have to stay with her until she leaves you. Like you're no longer allowed. If you drag her through that, you're not allowed to just be like, all right, now that we did all of that, bye bitch.
Yeah. Can you imagine making it through One Piece and then going,
yeah,
the
connection's not there.
Couldn't really I don't know. I've been with you for 300 something hours, 400 something hours. And I don't care.
Dog, if you break up with someone after One Piece, I think that's like an auto ticket to hell. Like there's like a bunch of things, like kicking puppies is up there. Hitting old ladies is probably high on the list. Yeah, watching One Piece with a girl and then breaking up with her, you probably deserve to go to hell. I won't lie to that one.
There's no content in any episode. It's like 15 minutes of content.
And you made her sit through that.
And I made her sit through the fucking openings and what happened last time.
So you're a sick fuck. Do you watch openings when you rewatch anime? Or really just when you watch anime, do you watch openings? Like if you're binging, let me put it that way.
It depends on the opening. And if it's skippable, and if I'm in a hurry. So with FMA, I was watching that on Hulu, and Hulu didn't give me any chance to skip that. But when I was watching Demon Slayer on Netflix, that had the opportunity to skip. So,
Yeah, and I just...
For Crunchyroll, like when I watch My Hero Academia, I'm like just sitting through the opening.
It's
whatever. I don't mind them.
I don't mind them if I'm watching like week to week or time in between, but if I'm binging, there's a lot of openings I don't care to see.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Binging through Attack on Titan, I didn't care to the openings for season 1 and 2. I'm like, I could after you've seen it once or twice, I'm like, and you're trying to get through X amount of episodes in a day, I'm good. I don't need to watch this every single episode.
Like I said, I think Attack on Titan has a couple fire openings. So I'm like, I'll sit through those. I know they have a really good ending. For season 4's ending is pretty fire. So I'll sit through that.
That's even harder for me, like to sit through. And if I have another episode right then and there, like for Attack on Titan specifically, when I went to having to watch it week to week, then yeah, I would watch the opening and the ending. But when it was like in the middle of season 2 and like the hype train was going, I was like, dog, I'm not trying to.
We gotta go.
Yeah, like go. I'm not trying to watch this opening and ending every single time. But we're watching that with them. We're about almost done with season 1 now. For their watch. I will say, I don't know if I've ever said this about a show. This is a weird thing to say. It's almost better as a rewatch than watching your first time.
What? I hope I have a fucking clip of me saying the rewatch value. I understand. No,
you probably do. You do. But no, that's what I'm saying. The rewatch value is high, and I don't want to argue that. Yeah. It's not just high, it's better.
I know.
It's actually better, which is a weird. I don't know if that's intended. Because that's I don't know if you could write a show and guarantee you could get that effect. But more and more, it's like, because it was the scene like when Eren passes out, or sorry, when Eren's on the ground and the Titans are like nibbling at him. This is the first transformation, right?
Okay.
And everybody's just like, or Jean's like, fuck it. He did what he did. That Titan's fucking weird. All right, let's bounce. And everyone's like questionable about it. And then Annie, Reiner, and Bertold are like, no, you can't leave him there. That could be a huge help. And I'm like, fam, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's like, like I said, dude, I don't know if that's
telling you, man.
It is better. It is.
I know.
Than watching it the first time. And that's just a weird thing to me.
I've rewatched that show like 4 fucking times and I've caught something new every time.
It's just I give it to it. It's I don't know if that makes it higher on my list.
You're welcome.
It is a very unique. It's a unique, because like I said, I don't know if you could capture that. I've said multiple times in here. Yeah. To be able to express a feeling and that feeling be captured, I think is the hardest thing to do in writing in general.
Yeah.
I didn't like One Piece until Arlong Park, and I've been on here saying I'm not a big Nami fan. Nami's backstory got me. Whereas, like, if I got through Arlong Park and still couldn't feel something, I was gonna be done with One Piece, because it hadn't done enough at that point for me to be like, oh yeah, this is totally like the greatest thing ever. This is something I want to spend, because everyone knows how long One Piece is. So it's like, okay, what's gonna hook you? And Arlong Park hooked me.
Yeah, Arlong Park's technically the climax for the East Blue. So like that's your Wano, isn't it? Like,
I mean, on a much lower scale,
on a much smaller scale, or Alabasta to Baroque works, you know.
Yeah,
like, that's your climax.
Like the like Dragon Ball Z, and I've said this before on the show. It's like, I don't know why even watching Super and like thinking like Master Roshi could die, and it was like, fuck, that made me feel away. And I was like, and then 30 seconds in, I'm like, why the fuck does it matter? They're just all gonna come back anyway. But he captures you in that moment, and that's such a powerful thing that makes that's really, to me, what makes shows stand out. Like, knock all of like the normal critiques of a show. Naruto does it probably, I could argue, maybe better than anyone ever. It's like he can put you in a moment, he can make you feel away, and you are invested whether it makes sense or not. You're just like, I'm here. Dragon Ball did it. Attack on Titan, I was telling Noemi, we were watching, I'm like, season 2, I think is one of the only times I've ever watched a show, and I think I could actually feel the characters feel hopeless. Or I was like, yeah, how the fuck do you kill these things? Like every time, like you think, oh, they're getting ahead. No, wiped out 50% of them. Then you get the tower scene, and it's like, oh, because the tower scene, what fucked you up, not just the 2 older officers dying. It's the rest of the crew you're introduced to them dead because they were just flung. I don't remember if that was Zeke throwing him or not, but they were. I'm presuming it was
season
Zeke.
2.
Season 2, yeah, when they're all in the night and they're in that tower at night.
Yeah, and Zeke starts throwing Titans at the tower.
Correct, but he also threw the 2 soldiers. I think they're incoming as soon as the scene starts. You just see them get fucking. They are in the air. They hit the tower and they go, "Oh shit, that's so and so and so and so." But Titans don't really throw except Zeke. But I don't know if
it's probably Zeke then.
Yeah, it's you don't get to see him actually throw them. I'm just presuming Zeke chucked their ass. So they're dead. Then you see the rest of the soldiers die. Then you see the 2 kind of important people we just met. They both die. At the same time, you're like, oh, now Titans move at night, which is one of the few things like they had going for them. And it's like, that was one of the few times like, oh yeah, no, this feels hopeless. Like this feels, you feel like, oh shit, like humanity's just fucked. And that's the feeling of shows like that. Like that's what kept me in. That's where I was like, all right, I'm tuned in for however the hell this turns out. And I've also come on here and said, I'm like, that's probably part of my reason why I dislike the fact it went from humanity versus Titans to it's like, all right, well now we're just back into like normal like war, politics, civilization, like normal shit like that. And I'm like, well, I've seen wars, class wars, race wars, all that kind of shit. Like I've seen that in shows before. So I was a little bummed out. I was like, you didn't get Titans before. You didn't get these things that you can't, like Ryan said, he's like, oh, so you can't talk no jutsu them. And I was like, yeah, no, Naruto be fucked in Attack on Titan. He ain't talking to nobody.
I don't know, man. They're a little squishy. I think Naruto would be fine.
No, beginning Naruto's fucked. Season 1 Naruto was dying.
What do you mean he'd shove a kunai in its ass?
Oh, you're right. And then be shit out and eaten again.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing on rewatch is Ymir.
Yes.
She is my favorite because, again, she was a Titan for 60 plus years and then became human again, or then became a shifter. So all
the shifters are great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All in rewatch value, they are.
You sit there in the room as someone who's had to rewatch this show like a bunch with people who just don't watch it. You get to sit in the room and you go, are they going to guess it? Because it's very obvious.
But it's not obvious.
It's not obvious.
It's so just everything's
like right down to the fact that the armored Titan looks like Reiner. You know, like he looks like Reiner, and you just don't think about it.
And that's brilliant because that's just like normal anime trope. Because we've
that's
all
an anime
seen
trope. Yeah,
we've all seen characters that look like each other. We've all seen side characters that are like, you know, you can only get so creative on side characters, especially when you're killing off the amount they are. And
my thing is always like, Annie's
also really well done.
Annie is fantastic. Yeah. Or like when Reiner teases Annie and calls her a warrior. And what are you? You're a weak warrior or something like that. He's like, what kind of soldier are you? And she's like, I'm a warrior or something like that. And it's like, it doesn't mean anything until you've watched the show and you go,
Yeah, no, she's she.
Like I always figure if you don't guess that Reiner is the armored Titan by the 3rd episode, you're gonna have a fun time.
Yeah, and I don't think they give it away.
I don't think they give it away either. Like, but you know, people that go, I don't know. Like I was watching it with Becca and Chris, and that was where I was like, I bet Chris would guess it, and Chris didn't even think about it.
Like
two of our friends, to you people who are wondering,
because you focus so much on like the despair and like the hopelessness of it, where it's like every time, like at the start of season 2, when it's like, okay, we finally have some ground, Annie is captured, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of peace, and it's like, oh no, because if just 4 of them pull up, like Mikasa says in season 1, she's like, oh, 4 Titans, like a squad can't take those out, and you're like, oh fuck, it's just if any of them pull up, it's unless you're literally Levi like 4 Titans could mean your whole town is gone. And
well, fuck it. Like that one like tiny Titan was enough to take out that one town.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and it's like,
or take out Sasha's village was one Titan.
Yeah. And it's just, yeah, no, the replay value is fantastic. I would argue it's better as a rewatch than the first time, which is a weird thing to say, but
does it go up higher on your list or not?
Attack on Titan's is a great watch, and I will not take that away from it. It's one of probably like my 3 or 4 favorite watches, but no, it doesn't go up higher for me, and that's because, like I said, just even on an anime-only basis right now, I was very turned off by the immediate shift of this is what we've had. Now we're going over here 100 miles an hour, and I don't. You and I think we're on the same page. I think the royal family's backstory, I think, is kind of shoddy, and the whole memory thing is a joke.
I think I don't know. You've read it, so you probably know more than I do.
Not even off reading, just when they show you the cave scene, just like that, those couple episodes where they're doing the royal family. Because
also it's a really good rewatch. That stuff is really good the second time around.
I want to think so, but it's like a lot of their climaxes feel less than satisfying for the royal family. Even homie drinking like I didn't need the fucked up Titan. Like, the more I think about it, I'm like, homie drinking the shit on the ground and becoming like this colossal Titan, but his face is shoved in the ground. I was like, that didn't do much for me. Like, I'd have been okay if he just died in the cave, because he didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. He just fucking dragged his ass all the way from the fucking cave to Parody, and it's like, dog, why? Like, what was your?
Okay.
Like, did you need it? Like, and Aaron threw fucking essentially a grenade in his mouth, and that blew him up.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's like, it's a hopeful moment. It's like one of the first times there's any hope.
I just, like I said, it's
like I would say that them fighting Rod was the first time I went, everything's going to be okay. Because I was like, yeah, he's 120 meters tall. He's bigger than a colossal Titan. He's 2 colossal Titans. But he's like stupid.
Yes. And that's
he's just a regular like 120 foot tall Titan. And I'm like, you know what? This is the first time I think everything's going to be just fine. And I was cool with it because I haven't had that in a while. Even in the when they're capturing Annie, I'm like, there's so many casualties from this. Whereas like Rod, I'm like, oh, there's no like fallout from it. And honestly, I'm totally cool with it.
I'm not mad. No one that's cool. I just it wasn't for,
especially like going into the second half of that season, which is the most fucking like hopeless.
Oh, season 3?
Yeah, because that's the first half of season 3 is the Rod Reese stuff, and then the second half is
the backstory.
Everybody fucking dies.
Well, you get the backstory because season 3 ends on the backstory of Marley, and
there's no hope that either.
No, that's
and then you get hopeless Aaron.
But
you get Aaron that knows the history of the world, Aaron.
That's fine, but and fuck that. Aaron is technically always known. He's got his fucking dad's memories. Like, come on now. Like,
I mean, yeah, but like it hurts more.
Can't access them all the time, but took him a while. But
he accesses them now.
He accesses them now, but he had Aaron had all the answers. What, episode 2? Why is he being a bitch?
Yeah, he just didn't know how to tap into it.
It was only your fucking mom that died, dog. Get over it. No, I think
which on my fucking fourth time watching this, I don't know how many times I saw season 1. They fucking like give away the mom's death and Hannes's death all in like the first episode, like first shot is Hannes's death and his mom's death is the first shot of the show. Because it's a dream. He has a dream of the future.
I get that, but you have to slow play that.
What do you mean?
Like if you just watch the episode and just let it start, those are 0.1 second fucking side by side like flashcards essentially. That's
fine.
You get context later, but you're not really like, even if you slowed your TV down, you wouldn't see homie dying.
Oh no, you don't see any. No, it's not that. That's not the important part. It's the shared memory thing, the future memory thing that all Titan shifters get.
Yeah,
and that's the first shot of the show. That's like giving away hockey in the first episode of One Piece, and then expanding on it 600 chapters later. It's fucking cool, and I love it.
I'm not gonna doubt it. No, it hasn't moved up higher on my list to answer your question. It is still in a really strong spot, but it just, like I said, there's just a couple of things that bug me with it.
No,
also, especially because like the point where that in the anime right now, it feels, and this is just a really shitty term. I just don't know how to describe this in more words. It feels a little Naruto-ish, where there's like 3 or 4 characters who I have to pay a lot of attention to, and a lot of these characters that have been with us in season 1, I'm like, I'm no longer like, I like Jean, but I don't need to be really focused on Jean's storyline right now. I like Connie. I don't really need to be focused on Connie Line's story right now. Connie storyline right now. Like it's like, all right, what's Zeke doing? What's Aaron doing? And by association, you get Levi with Zeke, and you get Mikasa, Armin kind of with Aaron. But I'm like, after that, I'm like, dog, I don't even have to care about like the original fucking whole cadet crew, because everyone's kind of stagnant right now because Aaron and Zeke are trying to move the world, and I'm like, I don't need. Yeah, so that's little gripes. One up, but recommend the show to anyone. Great show. Now on to One Piece. How do you want to start this off, Matt? What would, if you just play?
If this was my first One Piece chapter, how would I rate it?
Let's confused.
If this is how the first episode of One Piece went, would this be a good show?
Man, imagine if they did that. It's like, hey, this is a preview of the future, and then now all the way back to episode 1.
God damn, that's like Boruto. That's how Boruto started. I killed the 7th to fucking 18-year-old Boruto, and then they flash back to him when he's 11 or 12.
The GOAT Yu Hakusho only show to do that, right? To give us like a pre-scene and then go forward. But if you had, let's play a game.
Okay.
Describe the chapter. And I'm gonna start doing this with every chapter we get.
Okay.
I think this will be funny. You get 3 words to describe the One Piece chapter. They don't have to be a sentence. They could literally be boom, bang, dead. 3 words to describe this One Piece chapter. Try your best.
Kaido knows Joy Boy.
Okay, that's a strong 3 words. That's a strong 3 words.
Yeah, it's like that. That's how they fucking open the chapter. Luffy's dead. Merry Christmas.
That's 4 words.
It is.
Luffy.
I'd like to start with the Kaido Joy Boy stuff, if you don't mind.
I'm down. I think we have a different angle at this, but I'm down. Start us off, Matt.
I just thought it was like, I thought that was like a very interesting thing. It means that someone on Zebek's crew could read. Zebek knew about Joy Boy.
Do you think that's surprising, though?
No, it's not. But the fact that Kaido is looking for a Joy Boy is very interesting. I think the implications on that are very interesting.
So so Joy Boy, real quick for everybody listening and watching. Joy Boy is one of like the hardest things to deal with when it comes to One Piece, because I do believe, and I do have some Joy Boy theories. Joy Boy almost feels like he's in a different place than what Oda has him due to the fandom. Because I think the second we were given, it's kind of like rabid dogs, and you just kind of like hang meat over their head and they all just start going fucking crazy. And it's like, give me it. I feel like Joy Boy, concept, person, enigma, whatever you think he's going to end up being in the end, I think the fan base, we took it and ran with it even more so than I think Oda was ready for at that time.
I don't think so, though, because the first time they mentioned Joy Boy is in Fishman Island, I believe.
You could be right. I'm not 100%.
And it's Robin going, who's Joy Boy? And because she said the name popped up in Alabasta and then it popped up in Fishman Island. I have to reread the One Piece to clarify that, but it's the fact that like obviously like yeah, cool. It is like a big like dog holding meat over a dog, you know. You're teasing a dog with that one. But the fact I figured Oda has like a strong end game with this one. I think it's a big part of the Void Century, like a huge part of the Void Century.
I agree, but so I've tried a lot of when you're sick, you have a lot of these moments where you're like, if your nose is stuffed or you've got like a scratchy throat, like you essentially have to like in the moment retrain yourself how to breathe, because one of your normal breathing methods they're just gone.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, let me actually sit for a second here and think how to breathe. I bring that up to say, as like, and I do this with sports a lot too, is it's like, all right, let's calm down for a second. Let's not like jump to the gun, say the big crazy take. Like, let's be realistic about it. And the more that I've thought about Joy Boy, and the more that, and I do want to establish Joy Boy is technically just as much a thought or an enigma as he is a person with the actual information Oda has given us.
Mm-hmm.
So Joy Boy could be like kind of how you referenced in the beginning, like Kaido could be looking for his own Joy Boy. That maybe when Zebek or whoever was, I don't think we're going to go much farther back than Zebek, but hypothetically we could, especially, yes, I think the part going back from Zebek would be the Void Century. So let's say there's a Joy Boy in the Void Century, and then there's another Joy Boy when Zebek's out here. And let's even say there's Roger has a Joy Boy, hypothetically. Okay. Or, and this is more so like the theory of Joy Boy, is that someone inherits that role the same way there's a King of the Pirates is a Joy Boy to counteract that. Or we have Joy Boy, the actual person, which is the Void Century is wide the fuck open and what that could be. That could be the strongest person. That could be a king. That could be an OG pirate like that. He could be anything.
My theory has been that Joy Boy is, I figured he's like one of the like the big D's, you know.
So you're Okay, so you're putting him as like an OG pirate, essentially.
Like an OG, not just an OG pirate, but like D.
So an OG, okay, an OG devil.
Yeah.
We're both on that, right? D is devil. We're cool with that for right now until proven otherwise. All right.
Cool. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This story is a successor to Dragon Ball Z. So.
Oh, I had a bitch and I forgot to send that to you. There's a picture of Sun Wukong, and it was a trip because I don't think I've actually ever seen a colored picture of him. For anybody listening, Sun Wukong is quite possibly the most important animal ever to Japanese and anime culture, because Sun Wukong, who's got the old Japanese novel of the story of the sun, I believe is what it's called. I could be fucking that up in translation. Mm-hmm. That is who Goku is actually based off of. And there's a really bitchin' picture someone drew of him. And I'm not gonna say how much money I almost spent, but I was this fucking close. But continue. Sorry, random side thought.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. I'm like, I think there's something very interesting about Kaido looking for someone who emulates this person of legend. Because again, he was with Zebek. He remembered like the 5 people he saw, and it was Roger, Shanks, and Whitebeard, and Zebek. Or 4 people, I guess. The 4 shades that he was comparing Luffy to.
Yes.
And
did we have a 5th shade?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't think so, but because we did Shanks, Garp, Whitebeard. It wasn't Garp. Roger, Garp wasn't there.
There wasn't Garp, yeah.
Shanks, Whitebeard, Roger, Zebek. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, just the idea that like you couldn't be Joy Boy either, it seems, is an interesting line.
So
when he was comparing Luffy to those 4, and it's not 2, you couldn't be Joy Boy 2. It's either, which means that he hasn't found anyone that like fits that description. Legend.
Yeah. So do you think then Joy Boy is a role?
Yeah. I figure, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was not so much a role, but like something to emulate,
Okay.
I think it'd be really cheap if he was like a reincarnation. I say that now. I'll love it if that's the case. I say that about a lot of things. I don't want to see Ajura and Indra again.
No, no one does.
So I don't want to see like Joy Boy reincarnated. I think it would be interesting if like Joy Boy was part of the like Joy Boy's power was hearing the voice of all things. I think that would be an interesting thing, because that would mean Luffy and Roger and Odin. Maybe not Odin, but Momonosuke all have that power.
Okay.
I don't know.
So we think Joy. So okay. So I'm gonna take down you don't have to commit to any of these answers, by the way. So this is not like we're hard crafting a theory right now. But this is one of the things that I was thinking of, and this made me actually. And I love the character that I'm going to lead to. I just don't want him. I don't love him for this role. Mm-hmm. Let's say Joy Boy is a role, okay? And Joy Boy is a role that is opposite or contrarian to the King of the Pirates. So the Void Century, we're going to assume this is, once again, the Void Century we literally have no information on. So it could turn out to be everyone was just drunk, and that's why it's the Void Century. They just got drunk for 100 years.
Fucking Fairyverse. All devils come from the moon.
Yes. So Zebek had a Joy Boy. Okay, that was someone who I'm going to argue was respected by that person of that kind of strength, but was contrarian to his thought process. So for this theory, I'm not using Joy Boy as a D. because obviously Zebek was a D. The Joy Boy would not be a D.
Okay.
I'm going to say Roger found someone like this. And I'm going to argue that the reason why, like, Kaido hasn't found one, Shanks hasn't found one, Big Mom hasn't found one, because you have to be whatever is the secret, which I believe we'll get at some point, behind Roger and Zebek's unique strength beyond just hockey, beyond just being crazy strong, has something to do with it. So Kaido knows I'm stronger than everybody else out here, but I don't have that.
Hmm.
Whitebeard even didn't have that. There was, well, at least we don't know. But I'm for this example, Whitebeard doesn't have a Joy Boy. So they're looking for a Joy Boy right now. If Luffy is obviously the story we're following, and he would be the one to find a Joy Boy. Do I sound crazy at the moment?
I'm trying to follow.
Okay. If this was the progression we were going on, are we okay with, at least with the information we have now, would feel like, would we be okay with Garp being Roger's Joy Boy?
Garp's a D though, isn't he?
He
Monkey
is
D Garp.
He is, but he's a D with the Marines.
I like your theory. I think if we're gonna go with a role, though, I would say a Joy Boy is a D.
Okay.
And Whitebeard did have a Joy Boy then in Roger.
I'll see.
And Kaido.
Would they be?
Yeah, technically.
Well, because Whitebeard's not a D.
No, I'm saying Whitebeard has a Joy Boy.
Whitebeard.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. I get you.
Sengoku had a Joy Boy, technically. Like, and it's the D that like pushes you or something, you know. The reason why Zebek and Roger, that fight was so crazy because it was two Joy Boys fighting each other.
I want to be mad at that. And this is why I don't want to jump out the.
Technically, 3 Ds were in that fight, so three Joy Boys destroyed an island.
And I just don't want to jump out the gate with Joy Boy because it's the most we joke about, like, okay, what do we not know anything about 1,000+ chapters in? We don't know shit about him.
Yeah.
We don't know. So it's like, it's hard to even like theory craft a person because you could be 100% wrong because we don't have any real concrete information. The way I took Kaido's statement is, it's like, to me, the only thing I got with that was, okay, maybe it is a role, and that's why Kaido's looking for it. Kaido, we know, has also been looking for we've hypothesized that Kaido is looking for a fight because he's tried to kill himself so many times and he hasn't deemed anyone worthy. So
he wants a Joy Boy to
take him out. Yeah.
And Shanks isn't a D that we know of.
Correct. That's maybe my thing, where it's like,
maybe like if Joy Boy is a role,
I would hate for Shanks to be a Joy Boy. I think Shanks has
a
unique role in the story because Shanks is kind of like that person who really doesn't belong. Like, he's not a Devil Fruit user. He's not a D. Shanks, for all accounts, is just a normal fucking person who got real strong.
I've heard many an interesting theory that Shanks is the son of Zebek. I've heard a lot. There's a lot of theories that say Shanks is the son of Zebek.
Okay, enlighten me. Why is Shanks the son of Zebek?
Man, I think they're just going off the hair color that they think Zebek has. But
Zebek's hair is nuts.
Yeah, but you look at Shanks and you go, okay, he was this little kid that was on Roger's crew, and Zebek disappeared like 40 years ago, something like that.
Something we'll go with 40.
Yeah, something less than 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Shanks is around that same age. And being able to just walk into the world government is an interesting, like being able to just talk to Eam is a very interesting thing that he can do. I don't really agree with it, but I do like the idea that Blackbeard and Shanks are related.
So,
and if Blackbeard took out Shanks, it would be like
the brothers killing each other.
Kane taking out Abel, that kind of deal.
So my only problem, and as I deep dive, I already got it in. This is the theory episode. This is all my theories.
This is the theory crafting. We're theory crafting today.
But there's a bunch of shit that I'm like, I start to convince myself, and then one thing really throws me off because. So let's say for this one, right? So I like what you said in terms of Shanks, because there is things that are like kind of cool about that. It's like, all right, well, where is Shanks' place in the world? Okay, if he was Zebek's son, that's a very important place.
Yeah.
The only problem is, when I find myself thinking about Shanks, whatever you give Shanks in terms of, oh, well, he was here and then he was there and he grew up like this, all those exact same things apply to Buggy.
Yeah.
They're the same age, essentially, maybe off by a year.
Yeah.
They both are on Roger's crew. They're both essentially from the same town. Like, so it's like, as much as I want to like hype up Shanks, this is why I think Shanks is, I fall on like Shanks is a regular guy, because I think Buggy's a regular guy. Buggy just ate a really funny fruit, and now Buggy's just this funny fucking clown thing that exists in the new world.
Yeah. Well, it's also like Buggy doesn't apply himself. He's he's a quintessential pirate. Like he just cares about treasure, not about adventure.
And so, like, yeah, you could say, okay, well, Shanks is this old, and that's around the time Zebek went away, and then it's he was already just on Blackbeard, or he already, like, how do you be a kid on Roger's ship, and all these things? But it's like, fam, we got to give Buggy the same credit then.
Yeah, right.
And so Shanks is he's a very hard person for to put his place in the world for me. And like, I feel the same way about Garp. Is I'm like, Garp kind of has the niche role of just like, he's only important to the world because of who his grandchildren turned out to be. And important in today's world. Garp was obviously like a really strong Marine and fought Zebek, and that was why he was important 20, 30, 40 years ago. But the reason why he is still actively relevant right now is because his grandson is tearing shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Who's, as a fan request, we're fans, who was the next character you would like to see fleshed out
in One Piece?
In One Piece, you just get to say, obviously, like, finish Wano to the degree we think Wano will be finished too.
Yeah.
But if we think that the next arc is this huge long thing that's going to start tying stuff together slowly but surely, who is the first character like, I need to know about X?
Either Blackbeard or Shanks.
And why?
Why do I need to know more about them?
Yeah. What's your reason for them being first?
One of them I think is tied to Zebek.
Okay.
And I need more info on Zebek.
Would you rather have them, or instead of just like, if hypothetically you could just get, if Zebek's backstory was immediately following Wano?
I feel like I think we're going to get some Kaido backstory, and that'll get us some Zebek. The same way that Odin gave us some Roger, like a little like tease of Roger. Mm-hmm. More than a tease of Roger, like a lot of Roger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to get like I'd love to know more about. I think I'd like to know more about Shanks. I'll be real. How he got on Roger's crew.
I think Shanks is high on my list as far as if I could get someone immediately after.
I want to know more about Fairy Verth.
I'll exclude the Void Sentry because that's
not a person though. You know,
yeah.
like obviously the Void Sentry, we're gonna get that. Like that's not a.
Because I've said it a couple episodes ago. I'm like, someone's gonna get left out. As much as I'd like to believe that Oda does have this grand master plan to make every single character who's left alive have some great revelation at the end in accordance in regards to their relationship with Luffy, we just have too many fucking characters, dog. And I don't want to sit through a final arc that you have to explain every single son of a bitch that would have already met, already had some time with. Like, I'm cool on them. Like, I don't need everybody to pop back up again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Joy Boy is pretty high on my theory or on something I need to know. I don't expect to get him anytime soon, or what he is anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that, you know. Oh, I'm in it for the long run at this point, right?
We're definitely in it for the long run.
I've been in the long run at this point.
We don't even know how long. They just told us to start a marathon, and we don't even know how fucking long this bitch goes. But they just say, "Hey, run, motherfucker! How long? Just run." We're just running.
Kind of transitioning out of that, because I don't know how much longer you have.
I got a hard kick out at 6:15. We got 15 more minutes. 17 more minutes.
Yeah. I want to say fuck yeah to Chopper. Going back to the chapter, Chopper is putting in work, and if you want to look at this page, I don't know if you noticed it, he's putting in work, and there are just arrows in his back. Like he has been impaled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in the back, and he's still fucking up a commander. So
Chopper's. I'm very happy with Chopper's progression. I'm disappointed.
Chopper ain't no fucking bitch, and not just fucking him up. Even if he isn't like doing a shit ton of damage to him, he's held this fucker off for 20 minutes.
No, yeah, Chopper's man.
Chopper's Chopper, man. My big one is how do you think Luffy's gonna get out of this? How do you think Luffy gets out of this situation?
Are you ready for it? So there's one of two ways I think this unfolds. One's kind of corny, and I'm not really excited for it, but I'm almost. I don't know if Oda's plan is to show us how terrifying Kaido is, or to show us how far Luffy's come. Because for this to be resolved in a way where you feel like you got both, Luffy kind of has to have one of those like corny anime comeback moments. Like as he's falling down, he's got to be thinking about something in his head, and that's got to like wake him up. And then Luffy could just fucking stretch his arm back up there and get back up to where Kaido is. But that's not very Oda-esque. Usually whenever someone gets knocked out like that, like there's reasons behind it. There's actual damage that's been taken. Like he's very consistent on like the fights, everything being very relevant. And we're past the point of like Luffy's had has crazy attrition value now. Like he can fight for long periods of time. That's already been proven. And that's been proven again in this arc. But I don't know.
I have a theory, and I need you to hold on to your hat with this one.
I will.
This is a bonkers one. This is a bonkers theory. And for the 5 people that have made it to the end of this podcast, if anyone's made it this far, I think Luffy gets saved by Noah and the Sea Kings. And that's why Momonosuke's head is like exploding, because all this, like, Luffy's calling out to the Sea Kings subconsciously, and they're going to bring Noah. And that's my hot take.
That's not bad.
Right?
That's not bad. That's okay. Not, hey man, Matt brought his A game today. Matt brought his A game. That's not,
that's all I'm saying.
That's a theory.
There you go, man.
And I wouldn't be mad at that. That would be a very Oda-esque
at all. Because I'm like, okay, Luffy's hanging out in Noah, and it'll give him his like anime, not mini training stuff, but like he'll get something, and then he'll roll up on Wano and fucking Noah. That's my hot take.
So, trying to think of the way to phrase this. Do you think that'll be Luffy's edge? The fact of, like, we've always talked to, like, not just podcast listeners, but y'all are the only ones listening. But just in general, a very fun and show the word besides fun for it. Fuck it. An idea or a conversation we've had literally going back to 2013, 2014. Are we ever going to see a water fruit? A fruit that is based on, like, you have the quote unquote ultimate cheat code. You're the only devil fruit user who can fuck around in water.
What's the drawback to that power? We've never talked about that. Like, I think there is one, but it has a drawback. I just don't know what it is.
I don't think there would be. Well,
is it something stupid? Because I would love for it to be something stupid. You have the power. You eat it. Okay, I think I know what the drawback to the water fruit would be. It would be you can't walk on land.
No.
You have the power to swim and the power to control water, but the moment you step on land, you get like motion sickness or something.
I'm gonna disagree with that one only because Aokiji fucks everything up.
Because Aokiji's ice.
I know, but homie took a straight dive into the fucking ocean and just froze that bitch.
Yeah,
and said, I don't. Him. And he said, I don't give a fuck if there's water or not. So I would imagine a water fruit would be so in the same principle, like Aokiji could fall in water, still generate ice. A water fruit person still couldn't technically swim. But if they have power and they have consciousness, they can do what the fuck they want in the water. Because Aokiji can swim, essentially. Aokiji can freeze and
freeze.
He can freeze everything, rise to the top of the frozen. Yeah, it floats. He can walk on it. Like, he doesn't have the same weakness as like a Kainu falls in the middle of the ocean. What's he do?
Oh, he dies.
There you go. Aokiji falls in the middle of the ocean.
We also need to go, awakening. If it's an awakened fruit, he could probably like try to, if he falls in like a lake, he could probably like steam out the lake before he died.
He probably could. He's a bad example. Like, because what we've proven to this point is
Kizaru falls in the water.
I don't think he's dead either. And I only say that because I think, Jack fucks this up, and so does Aokiji.
Jack's a fish man.
When you're strong enough, like the water being a weakness is kind of like training wheels. Like when you first get your devil fruit, all right, don't go swimming because you're not strong enough. You don't know it well enough. I think everybody that's worth a shit, especially at the point in the story we're at, I don't think they give a fuck about water. I don't think they're concerned about it. I don't think they're like, they're just like, what the fuck's like, all right, you can't swim. And it's literally just that.
You think that's what Luffy's going to end up doing then? Like that'll be how Luffy survives?
I think he could survive in water.
Like he just has really good conqueror's hockey.
Because Luffy can still stretch. That's the thing. We saw go all the way back to Arlong Park. They stretch. Homie was still able to stretch. He was just too weak to do it.
Yeah.
So your powers still work underwater. You just physically can't swim. There's real. I don't know if this is a bad example or not, but like, there's people walking around the regular world who can't swim.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like that in Fishman Island too. Like Luffy fights. He's in an air bubble, but he's able to like throw his fist outside of an air bubble and still do things.
So that's like that's just like how to beat like a novice devil fruit user is like, all right, throw him in the water, splash, you're wet, fucker, you can't do anything. But I don't think
you do like sea stone, if you're training with sea stone on, maybe you last longer.
That's quite possible. But even with that being said, my original question or thought was Luffy having control of the sea through able to hear all things and having Jinbei on his crew. Is that his separating factor? Because we don't know. That was a big thing with Roger. Is like, homie had a fishman with him. Like, I don't remember how long Fisher Tiger was with him, but he was with him or not Fisher Tiger.
We don't have a name for the fishman.
But what was his and Roger's reaction? Because they had an interaction. What was Fisher Tiger and Roger's reaction?
I'm sorry. Reaction?
I thought they could have sworn Fisher Tiger and Roger had an interaction. Like they met up one day.
No,
I might just be.
I don't think so.
But I could have.
Because Fisher Tiger. Yeah, maybe. I didn't think they did though.
Sebring, Koala Slave Mark, and Roger, One Piece.
He
might just be tripping.
He was with Boa Hancock. He liberated a bunch of slaves. And Koala.
Oh, here we go. Is it possible that they continue? Oh, okay. Apparently that's a question, but there's no confirmed them meeting. But he's old. He's old enough to have met Roger technically, because he was obviously he's technically a part of Roger's generation. Because when he freed everyone, like Hancock was a kid, so he's technically old enough. But there is no confirmed him meeting. But I want to say we got a confirmed fishman on Roger's crew. We just don't have a name for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So having that power of the sea on top of no one's just drowning anymore. Do you think that is do you think that's going to be like a huge edge for Luffy going forward?
Oh yeah. I mean, if he can survive underwater, then that would explain how Big Mom survived too.
Yeah. She just her fat ass floated.
Also, the fishman on Roger's crew's name was Sunbell.
Good old Sunbell. A true champion of the people.
Yeah. We don't really know anything.
Well, we'll ask. We got about 5 minutes left. Okay. I'll ask the question we've asked about 1,000 times in the last 20 chapters. How much stronger is Kaido than Luffy? Because at this point, I'm not. I hate to say like he's extremely stronger, but fuck, Kaido looks still in pretty good shape, and Luffy's going through it. Like, if this is animated,
he says, "I love the fucking taunt." He was like, "What was that movie you used? Gum. Ugh." Like, he's just like, "Hey, don't fuck you." I like. Yeah, he calls it. You figured something out, but you're like clumsy with it still. So, and I think again, like this first page, there was a lot of implications. I think Luffy's on the right track, but he, like I said, I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. He's new. Like he literally figured out like 30 seconds and then like 5 minutes later got his ass pushed in.
Yeah.
I'd love to see this shit fucking animated, by the way, because
absolutely.
I just want to see like the animators take some creative liberty with like Kaido holding up a fucked up Luffy and then just throwing him off of Onigashima. That shit would be brutal.
Yeah, no, it's excuse me. I'm trying to think. I need. This is the kind of chapter where I feel like deep diving, I need a little bit more info. Like, we got a bunch of stuff, but it feels like we went when kids talk and they'll kind of try to tell you a story and they'll tell you a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of here and a little bit of this, and you're like, do we get resolution to anything? Like, you started your day, you went outside, and then you're back inside playing with your friend, and then you're at dinner. It's like, did anything actually resolve, or did you just go in this fucking they talk in circles without actually finishing a circle? And there's a lot in this chapter where I'm like, okay, Kaido beat Luffy, but Luffy's not confirmed out of it because he's still in midair.
He's also the main character.
Also the main character. Like, Zoro and Sanji are pissed off because they announced I thought that was kind of cool. That's a weird kind of acknowledgement, but the fact Kaido wanted to announce that he had killed Luffy, I do think speaks to it. Then you get obviously like Zoro and Sanji pissed off, and it's like, okay, well, are they gonna fight, or is Zoro still like body casted? What's going on there? You get the Chopper interaction. It's like, okay, Chopper's doing this, but like there's just a whole bunch of like everything's moving, but nothing's moving too far one way. And this is, I shouldn't really, it's not a bitch because it's just kind of what Oda does all the time, but it's just one of those chapters where like you're in the middle of like everything is moving, but it's not moving so hard one direction where you could say, oh, this is about to happen. Or like, because we might not see Luffy for a chapter. Like, Luffy could be still fucking falling next chapter. They could go to a whole other room.
He's in the water right now.
Like, did they show it? I didn't think they showed him all the way down.
Yeah, so on the first page, there's like a plank with him like falling into the water, and then on like page 8 or 9, it's him like drowning underwater. So Luffy's underwater right now.
Okay. That's like, wow. When you just put the main character drowning in the top right corner, and it gets like the smallest part of the page.
Yeah, man.
Because I took it as homie's falling, obviously, those first couple pages, and the air coming out was just like the normal steam once he starts going like gear 2+, and he just starts kind of fuming.
This guy is underwater.
Yeah.
That's why my Noah theory, I think, holds some water, because I'm like, oh, like Momonosuke's head shrieking open, and like Luffy's literally underwater now. I figured the Sea Kings were gonna like play a role in helping him out.
Also, fuck the samurai. That was like it's just guys, y'all, a really shitty tactic that was used several chapters ago that no one really liked then. You bring back with no, and I'm not trying to, I'm not shitting on Oda. This is just me bitching. You bring it back, you don't change anything. It's not any more creative. No one likes it anymore. And the one dumb bitch is like, I don't know, maybe it's him this time. She deserved to get stabbed. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like, I don't know if that's like anyone's favorite character, but she deserved to get stabbed. And I am. It goes against my moral beliefs, but I'm kind of hoping she don't make it out of Wano.
I kind of would be down if like all the samurai
died,
got taken out.
I would super be down. Now I don't have to fucking waste pages on them anymore.
No, I mean, like, not like that though. Like, I think it's interesting. It'd be more interesting if, well, maybe not like all of them, because Dogma and the cat person have ties to Zoe, which I think is like important. But I like the idea that the old guard loses.
Well, what do you think? Oh my gosh. I do gotta go up, but I want to get this out here first. We talked about Luffy, Homegirl getting stabbed. Kinemon took the worst hit in this whole fucking chapter.
Yeah.
Homie is that's
Kinemon's no bitch, dude.
Explain how Kinemon's not dead.
He's a lot stronger than you think he is.
Kaido got weakened. He's a direct hit from Kaido. It looks like he cleaved the top half of his body off. You can't, like, Oda, at some point, dog, like, you got to start letting motherfuckers just drop dead. Like,
well, I think that would be really interesting too, because he doesn't like to kill off main characters or named characters, excuse me. And I'm like, I mean, you got 9 samurai. Kanjuro, I think, is finally dead. I think they finally took out Kanjuro. They blew up one of the samurai already. So there's technically 7 left. Kiku, I hope, like, is out. And then if they took out Kinemon, like, that's 4 samurai, like, killed. And that's a huge deal. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, it's
absolutely not. I think Kinemon's fine. I think Kiku. I would love Kiku to die, but I'm pretty sure they're fine.
Oda, just do it. Oda, just do it. Just fucking do it. I'm rooting for Kaido's kill count. Like, I'm just like, just do it, die. Just do it. Just do it. With that being said, I got to get the fuck out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. We'll have more time next week to talk. I'm just on a little bit of a hard deadline today. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Don't forget, as always, go check out at I Talk a Lot 9080, at Shadow Riley, at Willbell_NVO, at Ant_HFN, at Hardfought Network on Twitter and Instagram. We got a new episode of The Sync this week.
Not this week. We're still on break.
We'll
probably start up again in late June. Okay. We'll probably start back up again.
Once more movies start coming out?
Yeah. And it gives us time to, like, reformat the show a little bit and try some new things.
Hey, do you support? Go check out the episodes if you haven't seen any episodes yet. If there's episodes that you're not caught up on, go check it out. And do you do it through Anchor? Or do you do it through like an old school RSS feed?
Oh, no. I do it through Anchor.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got approved for Apple.
Hey, gang.
That's cool.
Don't ever, if you're someone starting a podcast now, as someone who had to do it, don't ever go through a fucking RSS feed. Those are the stupidest fucking things on the planet.
I figure I might do it for like Stitcher, but I don't think.
No, Anchor does do Stitcher.
Do they? Okay. Yeah. We just didn't get we're on Stitcher. I guess we didn't get approved for Stitcher.
You'll get them throughout. Like the longer you're on there and the more you're putting out, the more like they'll start putting in other places. But Stitcher's one of them. You're also able to this is anime or manga related, but if you want to, like, specifically, like, you want to be on Apple, you want to be on Spotify, and you're not approved yet, you should have the option in your settings to see what you're on, and then you can ask for the other ones, and they might push you along farther. Not 100% sure that works, but I know that's supposed to be an option. But like I said, appreciate everyone for coming in and listening.